Russia sometimes seems to be a strange place. With the recent news of Russia launching an attack on Ukraine, its weirdness and impulsiveness in regards to its policies have been the talk of the town. But its policies are not the only mysterious thing about it, to say the least. Russia also contains the Siberian region, which is actually a part of the Asian continent. Or going by its size, it might be better to say that Siberia contains Russia. In fact, if Siberia were its own country, it would be the largest country in the world by area. The region is geographically situated in Asia, however. Due to it being colonized and incorporated into Russia, it is culturally and politically a part of Europe. Siberia is connected up to Russia with the help of the TransSiberian Railroad System. In fact, the development of the Siberian Railroad, or the Trans-Siberian Railway, which became completed in 1916, is one of the finest railroad networks in Russia. The 5,800-mile Grand Trans-Siberian Railroad is the longest one in the world and takes approximately 7 days on train to go from Moscow to Vladivostok, passing 8 time zones and 87 Russian towns. The railway offers genuinely splendid views in the Siberian journey and Russian exploration. Siberia is well known for its harsh winters and widespread landscape. At around 13 million square kilometers, Siberia takes up 3/4 of all Russian territory and nearly 10% of Earth's land surface. But still, there isn't any big population inside the Siberian region. Talking about population density, Siberia is one of the least populated regions on Earth, with hardly 7 people per square mile. Siberia is frequently related to harshly cold temperatures. However, this is not the case year-round. Yes, Siberian winters see the mercury dipping to as low as -70 degrees Celsius. However, summers are a great deal hotter, with western Siberia achieving 35 degrees Celsius. The continental weather of the region performs a massive element on this big climate shift. Siberia's history may be dated way back to 125,000 years in the past, while early people lived on the snow-clad land. These lands have additionally been the native place for indigenous groups, just like the Nivki, the Evenki, and the Buryat since long. Siberia is also home to the biggest freshwater lake in terms of volume, Lake Baikal, which is also the deepest lake on the globe with a depth of 1,642 meters. The majority of Russian crude oil and natural gas comes from western Siberia, in which gas reserves unfold form over an area greater than 2 million square kilometers. And it's because of this reality that Russia is certainly considered one of the biggest natural gas exporters in the world. However, despite all of this interesting information, it isn't all rosy and pink in the case of Siberia. In fact, the lots of years of regular cold temperature mixed with the heavy snowfall has hidden a few deep, darkish secrets inside the Siberian land. In this video, we will tell you about one such secret that was found within the Siberian soil. The latest discovery made by the scientists is concerning, to say the least, given the onslaught of the coronavirus that the entire world is enduring. As if from a plot of a movie, scientists located a historical virus buried below the Siberian permafrost. This virus, the Mollivirus sibericum, belongs to a collection of different historical viruses together recognized as large viruses. Mollivirus sibericum isn't particular in its discovery, in reality because 2003 researchers have discovered 4 different frozen large viruses. Some fear that reawakening this virus will unleash a host of problems. However, Mollivirus sibericum does not appear to pose any actual risk to people. Mollivirus sibericum is in fact the second 30,000-year-old virus to be unearthed within the Siberian permafrost. Permafrost is the land that isn't thawed. Permafrost is positioned in Siberia within the northern part of western Siberia and also along a part of East Siberia and Transbaikal. The primary Pithovirus sibericum was found in 2014 by a similar set of French scientists from the French Centre National de la Recherche Scientifique. The specialists published a paper on their revelation of the Mollivirus sibericum and that it labels the delicate virus from Siberia in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Mollivirus sibericum is also called giant since it tends to be seen under a light microscope, while most viruses are only seen utilizing an electron microscope. Giant viruses also fundamentally contain a greater number of qualities than normal viruses. The mollivirus ibericum, for example, has in excess 500 genome sequences, while the HIV infection has only 9 genome sequences. This tells a lot about the ability of the newfound virus to mutate. Although being frozen for a long time, a couple of viral pathogens that are as of yet not such a danger might resurrect within the site of a weak host to spread possibly pathogenic infections. The French group of researchers desire to restore mollivirus ibericum from its hibernation by placing it in touch with a host living being, most likely a solitary single-celled amoeba. Enlivening the virus is terrifying to say the least, but as of now it doesn't represent any genuine dangers to human well-being, since the mollivirus ibericum is known to infect only the one called amoebas. To take no chances, scientists will initially test to ensure that the infection can't recreate in human and mice cells. Hopefully they don't. However, of much greater concern is the rapidly changing climatic landscape in the Siberian region, which scientists suspect can unearth some ancient viruses which were unknown till date. Unfortunately, global warming is causing the Siberian permafrost to melt the Arctic and subarctic regions and are warming twice as fast as the rest of the world. As a result, more ancient viruses which appear to be common in the permafrost may be liberated from their frozen state. Expanded drilling and mining in the mineral-rich Siberia district might also get people in contact with age-old viruses, which are unknown till now. Hypothetically speaking, the frozen viruses could possibly cause contaminations once reawoken. However, the danger presented by the resurrection of these old viruses is not a matter of immediate worry to most virologists. Regardless of whether the viruses are restored, there is an extremely remote possibility that they would actually infect people and spread among humans. As the world warms due to global warming, bugs that carry pathogenic infections like mosquitoes can move into regions which they never inhabited earlier. For instance, the reappearance of chikungunya recently is connected with the dangerous climate change. In Siberia's region of Yakutia, the melting permafrost is likely to yield up even more treasures. The Guardian reported in 2016 with the number of reported prehistoric finds rising several-fold in the previous decade as warm and wet weather contributed to the thaw. A pair of frozen 3-month-old puppies found in 2011 drew global interest to scientific and cultural secrets revealing from the such animals. Russia is warming 3 times faster than the rest of the world, according to Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change scientists, with its Arctic and Siberian regions warming 4 times faster than the global average. According to experts, this warming could release long-dormant viruses which had been stored for millennia in the country's vast permafrost layer. Scientists have expressed concerns that the permafrost, the layer of permanently frozen soil that covers some 65% of Russian territory, could release viruses which modern animal species don't have immunity against. Viruses could spread faster between reindeer, seals, and other Arctic animal species as climate change increases the number of ice-free days in the Arctic. Climate warming reduces the size of the permafrost in Siberia. Inside the permafrost exists one of the strongest greenhouse gases, methane. Further thawing of the permafrost due to global warming can release the trapped gas and further accelerate warming, thus starting a self-accelerating process in place. This can have catastrophic consequences for the whole of humanity, from all kinds of disasters and the threat of anywhere from 1/3 to half of all mankind dying. We need to make sure to control the global warming effect on the Siberian region immediately. The indigenous populations in these regions are most acutely affected by these changes. Callahan said with communities reliant on reindeer herding or fishing are especially vulnerable. While Russia's leadership has expressed increasing concerns this year about the climate crisis than in previous years, it still wants to increase its investments into fossil fuel production and still hasn't presented a particularly ambitious plan to be able to slash carbon emissions enough to avoid the catastrophic warming. Thankfully, you won't have to worry about catching a 30,000-year-old Siberian virus anytime soon. We'll leave that scenario to the movies. But what did you think of this discovery? Let us know in the comment section below. Make sure to also subscribe to our channel if you enjoy our content, and we'll see you next time.